Welcome to Some Topic, the podcast where two dangerously underqualified individuals tackle an ever-changing buffet of subjects we have no business discussing. From global politics to ghost squirrels, nothing is off limits, and nothing is properly researched. We are your hosts, two voices with microphones, a Wi-Fi connection, and just enough confidence to sound like we know what we're talking about. Spoiler, we don't. But that's never stopped anyone with a podcast before, and we refuse to be the first. Every week, we plunge headfirst into topics both serious and stupid, usually at the same time, armed only with sarcasm, caffeine, and a dangerous overestimation of our own coherence. Whether it's philosophy, politics, pop culture, or paranormal rodents, we approach each subject like two raccoons who broke into the Library of Alexandria, knocked over a torch, and now insist the fire was enlightenment. Our findings? Improvised. Our sources? Suspect. Our method? Whatever we yanked from our asses while marching proudly up the hill of stupidity, ready to fall honorably in the fog of ego, ontological confusion, and the blood-slick ruins of abandoned discourse. It's too late to turn back now. Your descent has begun. And we, your casually deranged hosts, will guide you in style straight through the crumbling ruins of reason. Listener discretion is enthusiastically advised. This podcast contains strong language, stronger delusions, and a persistent disregard for intellectual safety. If you're easily offended, chronically literal, or spiritually fragile, please relax your chakras, unclench whatever needs unclenching, and consider yelling at a tree instead. This is not journalism. This is not education. This is comedy. This is play. This is Some Topic.
See, the problem is they canceled that Netflix show.
Which one was that?
Inside Job, the one where they talked about all the conspiracy theories being true and stuff.
Dude, when you talked about Inside Job, I thought you were talking about the Pixar film, Inside... whatever. There was a girl going through her fucking period, her puberty. Well, Inside Out, that's what it was called.
It was a... Look.
Yes.
I like cartoons. Inside Job had like a well-written female lead who like wasn't annoying and what's the word, tokeny. Yeah, it was a good, well-written show. Me, Brett, I was in.
I was there. You was there.
I was there.
Anyway,
the lizard people were there.
Another episode for Conspiracy Corner, which
and they canceled it in favor of Big Mouth.
Really?
Yeah.
Whatever. Our viewers should go look at Conspiracy Corner and
they
deal with that.
Inside Job.
Any hoozles. Welcome to Some Topic. My name is Nick. This here is
Brett from Inside Job.
I don't ever think you were on that show, but good for you.
I was.
And that intro is a segue into today's topic.
And what's today's topic, Nick?
Blah, blah, blah. My name is Count Dracula. I like to say blah, blah, blah.
Yes, unfortunately, local Romanian, Sam, was in fact kidnapped by grey aliens. So now here we are, left to talk about Dracula without him.
Dracula, Beyond the Fangs. The true story, the myth, and the legend. The legacy. You know that moment when you're flipping through old horror movies and suddenly Dracula pops up? When he shows up in the mirror and you're like, the fuck? He got blood dripping somewhere in the middle of it and it's just streaming down and you realize, oh no, good old Count Chocula fucking plucked their fangs into my goddamn vein, that meaty vein, and got blood. There's a lot of iterations of Dracula.
And how do you feel about that?
I think the Count Chocula thing is really dumb. Like, really, really dumb. But it tastes really good. Probably on account of it has a lot of sugar in it. So,
do you have real feelings about Dracula?
I mean, not really. I think I watched like 45 minutes on a airplane coming back from Europe.
Of what?
Of Nosferatu.
Of the black and white one from Germany?
No, this is the new one that came out.
And how did you feel about that?
It was one of those movies where I couldn't appreciate it only because it was so slow to me. I like Marvel movies. I like action. I like shut my brain off. I'm not thinking about it.
This is strictly a verbal medium, so the audience can't see how far my eyes rolled into the back of my head.
Yeah, it rolled all the way to the back and came back underneath your eyelids. That obviously you have sleep deprivation as you have bags under them.
Don't tell. Do I? Don't tell me about it.
I'll tell you about it later. So, how much of what we think about vampires is straight up Hollywood invention? Yeah or nay?
Very little. I'd say most of it originated with Polidori and with Bram Stoker,
Okay.
if not Romanian folklore
Well,
itself.
actually, that's where I was going with this. Bram Stoker wrote Dracula in 1897.
Well, what about Polidori?
What's Polidori?
Polidori was the personal doctor to Lord Byron. And when...
Educate our viewers, because God knows they're not going to know that, because I don't know that either. Don't you sigh.
Lord Byron was a goth boy who...
Like a goth boy, like
is the reason
the
that
iconic...
the modern-day nation of Greece exists.
Okay. Like goth boy from...
He was
Goth
also
in
hanging
high
out
school?
with Percy Blythe Shelley and Mary Shelley.
Mm.
The lady who made Frankenstein. They were all holed up in a castle in Switzerland one night and decided to write spooky stories. Mary Shelley submitted something that was going to later turn into Frankenstein. And
Good for her.
Byron's doctor, Polidori, submitted a story called The Vampire, spelled with a Y, about a vampire.
Really?
Yes.
No.
And I don't know why. I don't know if this is strictly correct. I think it's the one with all the lesbianism.
Ah.
I haven't read The Vampire by Polidori. And all that shit. Allegedly, there's a vampire in...
There's a vampire in a vampire book that I think has vampires
Allegedly, he's
in it.
based off of the original goth boy, Lord Byron, and Percy Shelley.
Okay.
Percy Shelley, who did Ozymandias, which is a poem I like about dust.
Good for them. So, Bram Stoker wrote Dracula in 1897, and even though it's over 125 years old, plus, give or
Did you read
take...
Dracula?
Did I what?
Did you read the book?
No.
I read the book.
I know you did. That's
I
why
liked it.
you're our expert panel on this. So, people still reference it in everything from Twilight to video games. And here's a wild stat. In 2021, a survey of horror fans found that over 60% of Americans said that Dracula was the most iconic vampire figure, beating even modern adaptations by a huge margin. So again, like we're talking like Twilight, Castlevania, all the vampire shit. Everybody knows Dracula. Like, that's the thing. They know Dracula. Did they read the book like you did because you're a book nerd? No.
Here's the thing.
Oh my god. Here we go. Continue.
The real horror of Dracula
Is that it's
is
long?
that he's an immigrant in white Protestant England
He's old.
buying up property,
That bastard.
ruining the housing market.
Blah, blah, blah. I've come to suck your economy dry with buying up the land and legislation.
I'm mostly just.
That's kind of how Nosferatu started, but whatever. So,
We'll get there.
Vlad
How is the book?
well, the book
I
is
like
fine.
the book. The book's a slow burn. It's a horror thing. You wouldn't understand because your dopamine has been ruined by short form media.
Correct. Just like everybody else and yourself.
So it takes a long time to build up. It is sort of interesting.
You like fucking Conan the Barbarian, which had short stories.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking slut shame me.
I'll slut shame you all I want, slut.
Hey,
Dracula's
takes a slut to know a
an
slut.
epistolary
Slut.
story. It's a bunch of letters back and forth between different people. One of them's a lawyer trying to sell land in England to this weird Romanian count who's
Okay.
super creepy. Then he gets accosted by a bunch of goth girls. Pretty horrifying. I know. I say awake dreaming of that.
Jesus
What was I talking about?
We're talking about Dracula. So,
Here's
something
anyways,
strange.
after that, there's like the lawyer's wife.
Kinky.
Her and her friend are hanging out when shipwrecks in England. It's pretty spooky. It's a ghost ship, bunch of people dead,
They do that?
bunch of coffins filled with dirt or something. Pretty weird. Weird dogs hanging around. A lot of weird dogs. Wolves, bats, shit like that.
Yeah, that'd be happening.
Meanwhile, Nick Cage is hanging around in an insane asylum asking for bigger
You're talking
creatures
about
to-
that one movie.
Yeah. What's his name?
I don't know, bub.
Anyway, Nick Cage is hanging around in
There's a
an
movie
insane
with Nick
asylum,
Cage.
asking for flies and mosquitoes and spiders to consume their life force so he can grow more powerful to serve as Dark Master. Just like real life.
Good for him. Vlad the Impaler.
Dracula buys a house. A cowboy shows up and kills him
What the fuck does it have to do with Vlad the Impaler?
at the end. Tell us about Vlad the Impaler.
Okay, so you're finishing your
That's the story of Dracula,
okay, yeah.
the novel.
Vlad the Impaler, the historical figure often linked to Dracula, actually killed an estimated amount of tens of thousands of people during his reign in Wallachia in the 15th century.
I thought it was Wallachia.
You speak your language, I speak my language.
If only someone here was Romanian. Rip Sam. Someday the aliens will return him.
R.I.P. We'll see you again. I really want to play When I See You Again. And then in the comments, we'll have people like, just, is he coming back? Blah, 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 blah.
Probably after they give Elvis back.
Maybe. When Elvis walks amongst us. So, that story has become romanticized.
It was,
Vlad the Impaler.
It was romanticist literature to begin with.
Was it? What's romantic about it?
It's not romantic in like boy and girl makes the fucky. It's romantic in like I'm feeling super goth right now.
Ah, yes. How could I not
I have all these
channel
feelings,
my
and
inner
they're
goth?
all about like nature and folklore and stuff. And oh my god, there's rationalism and science and industrialism encroaching, and it makes me want to dye my hair black.
So the story became romanticized
What do you
into
mean by that?
this seductive, mysterious figure. Again, because we're talking about Dracula. So the question I want to throw out
I
right
don't know
away.
fucking why. Dracula is a fucking old man with gray hair and a creepy mustache, and there aren't
Have
any women
you
who fall
ever
in love
watched
with him in the book
Twilight?
besides like the three who are already there.
Weren't you there when we were in
Like he
Twilight,
hypnotizes and
Nebraska?
shit Lucy Westenra.
Were you there when we were watching Twilight,
Yeah, I
Nebraska?
saw fucking
Like, you were there when we were Twilight, Nebraska.
yes.
Yeah, I was on a Twilight kick for whatever fucking reason.
Tell us about why people want to fuck vampires.
Look, if your skin was made out of diamonds, fuck it, I'd chop off, I'd skin you alive and have you regrow it.
I have beautiful, dusky, oily skin.
We can make a profit. So, how do we go from a violent historical warlord to the ultimate symbol of Gothic romance and mystery?
Turcophobia.
Perfect, that's an answer. Let's unpack that today. Because Dracula is not just a vampire story. It's
Are you
a
sure?
mix of history, psychology, and culture rolled into one.
And how does that make you feel?
Makes me think that Vlad III's reality versus Bram Stoker's imagination inspired Stoker. The entire reason why Dracula was written was because of Vlad the Impaler. Like you were alluding to.
Do you care to expand on that thought?
I want you to expand on that thought.
I would have gone, instead of to Vlad III, to Henry VIII, and the rise of Protestantism in Great Britain.
The fuck does
And-
Protestantism have to do with...
I'll tell you what it has to do with it.
Oh,
It has
God.
to do with the Dissolution of the Monasteries Act. It has to do with Henry VIII, the head of the Anglican Church, seizing church land like abbeys and monasteries and cathedrals to turn out to his own followers in a bid to consolidate his own power. And so, all these abbeys and monasteries and shit, all this Gothic architecture, or as we would call it, medieval Gothic architecture, sitting on the freshly acquired land of English lords, where they would slowly and gradually fall into ruins, into spooky Gothic ruins, that would sit around and inspire the English country gentry into thinking, wow, all these medieval ruins are kind of cool, kind of spooky. Makes me want to think about cool medieval spooky stuff. You know, like vampires.
So, you know how I was introduced to vampires? Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah?
The famous episode, like during the 1980s, 1990s, you had the theatrical run of Scooby-Doo. Like we're talking...
Like with Mr. Bean? The live-action ones?
Maybe, but we're talking like the animated versions of Scooby-Doo, when it was actually like Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Like...
You said the theatrical run, like the movie.
Yeah, that's theatrical.
So when you say theatrical, you mean it aired on television in homes and not in movie theaters?
I'm sure. I thought it did run into movie theaters.
Are you talking about the movies?
No, I'm talking about the TV show.
Fuck!
There was an episode with Dracula in it.
Was there?
Yes.
The original Romanian gangster himself.
The one, the only. Before he was... The gangsters was even a word. He was a gangster. He wasn't an OG. He was an OOG.
Original oily goulash.
That one. So. Historical Dracula. Vlad III. Not to be confused with the first or the second. We want to understand the real person behind the myth and why his story was so extreme.
He was really fond of kebabs and roasting marshmallows, and he got carried away.
He really, really did. So let's start with Vlad III, known as Vlad the Impaler. He ruled
Like, yeah.
part of modern-day Romania. Not to be confused where our other co-host, Samuel, who's been abducted by the Grey Men, came from.
I don't know where in Romania he came from.
Dude, he's second step gang. I don't even know where the fuck that, it could be any
The
stairwell.
point is that Wallachia was a buffer zone between the Christian world and the Muslim world, between the Austrian Empire and the Ottoman Turks.
So this was during the mid-1400s. So does that change any of what you just said?
No.
Okay. So his reputation for brutality was notorious. Estimates suggested he executed up to 100,000 people during his reign, using impalement as a favored method. This wasn't just random cruelty. He was fighting off the Ottoman Empire, suppressing rebels, and maintaining power through terror. Scholars argued that Vlad's extreme tactics were effective in protecting his territory, though gruesome. What's fascinating is that news of his methods spread across Europe through pamphlets called broadsheets, which were essentially the 15th century version of viral content. So good old Vlad the Impaler, he got TikToked 15th century style through these broadsheets and became Vlad the Impaler.
It's sort of weird that he was so cruel that, like, word spread, like, on his allied side, like on the Christian side, and not, like, on the Turkish Muslim side.
Well, again, I mean, you got the
Maybe it
big,
did,
bad old Ottoman Empire coming after you. You're just like, what the fuck? What are you going to do?
They were pretty goated.
Yes, they were.
And,
collapse of Rome and all that. They were riding that high.
If there was a Turkish version of Dracula, I don't know if I would know it existed.
Well, what's that? Oh my God, what's that one movie? I love seeing it. It's a great fucking movie.
The one with Nick Cage.
No, not the one with Nick Cage. This is actually a good one.
The Mummy.
Okay, that's not even what we're talking about, bro. Should definitely do an episode on the Mummy, but no, this is...
What other good movies are there?
Dracula Untold? Whatever.
It was a trick question. There hasn't been a good Dracula movie.
Well, you know what? You just have a very high opinion. Lower it and everything's better.
I just have a very high opinion of the original source material.
Me. So, Vlad's story touches on cultural storytelling. In Romania, he's remembered as a national hero defending his people, whereas Western Europe largely fixated on the horror aspects. This duality, horror, monster, and hero in one culture, mirrors how Stoker turned this entire idea into the vampire.
Well, wasn't there another lady, who, according to legend, drained young ladies of their blood to bathe in it to restore her own youth? Was that a Romanian
Sirens?
lady? No.
I don't know that one.
Lady who bathed in blood.
As he Googles it. So either way you look at it, understanding this...
Elizabeth Báthory.
Who the fuck is that?
Alzbeta Bátoryova.
You remember that thing I was trying to tell you the other night? No.
now
Pause
Slovakia.
everything. You remember that thing I was trying to tell you the other night about that stupid detective show that came out and that they literally force feed you everything?
BBC Sherlock?
Yeah, like that. It's called Elsbeth.
Yeah, that's right. The lady with the stupid colored bag.
Oh my god, I hate it so goddamn much. Alright. Going back to what we were talking about, because you said something. What about this creature of the night, the lady of the night, the whore?
Let's see. Between 1602 and 1604, rumors spread of her atrocities.
Of what? She became youthful?
Somebody testified that she'd also seen this girl and that she had added the flesh had also been cut out between the victim's shoulders and the right hand of this girl had been completely destroyed. He asked, who did that to your hand? The girl replied, the lady widow, Elizabeth Báthory. Somebody said that she would stick needles into the fingers of her victims. If it hurts the whore, then she can pull it out. Quote, somebody's source, Craft, 2014.
Okay. So
the story is that she would slice up young women, bathe in their blood, try and make herself younger.
Yeah, that's kind of a trope with any witchcraft nowadays that they do on modern media.
And the idea is that it sort of was part of the witch trials, part of the struggles between Catholics and Protestants in Hungary at the time.
Yeah. We did touch base on an earlier episode, me and Sam, on witchcraft, and I believe we were going to touch on the Salem witch trials, so you and I will have to tackle that here during Sam's Exodia in his interstellar travels. Hopefully he gets anal probed and finally gets that thesaurus out of his ass.
Should have been me.
So, I think there is definitely some kind of correlation between Vlad the Impaler, Bram Stoker pulling from that, and just like, here is Count Dracula, blah, 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 blah. So, Bram Stoker and the birth of modern vampires. In a sense, Bram Stoker's Dracula wasn't a biography. It was a Gothic novel crafted to terrify and captivate readers. Agree or disagree? Because you've actually read this damn thing, and I've only researched it.
I think it was supposed to be kind of spooky.
Okay.
I think Castle Dracula was surrounded with not just bats and Romanian people. The spookiest thing of all. But also werewolves and will-o-wisps. Other fearsome creatures under Dracula's command. That part of that whole Renfield movie with Nick Cage was that
that's what it was, Renfield.
Dracula was supposed to have this familiar Renfield who was under his control that's stuck in an insane asylum. They didn't realize he wasn't insane, he was under Dracula's spell, under his hypnotism, blah blah blah. And that Renfield was trying to get more blood, more power and stuff to escape, so he kept trying to play this game where he would lure a fly and have a spider eat the flies, and then have a bird eat the spiders, and then he would eat the bird, trying to work his way up the fucking food chain, trying to get enough blood. That was interesting.
Interesting. So
and he was able to hypnotize, to seduce these women, and he was turned away by garlic and holy symbols and stuff.
So interestingly, Stoker never visited Eastern Europe. He had to research local folklore extensively, reading travel logs, historical accounts, and legends. His Dracula combined the real brutality of Vlad III with the supernatural, turning the story into a psychological thriller. When the book was published in 1897, it sold moderately well, but over the 20th century, adaptations in film, theater, and eventually television exploded.
Have you seen the Bela Lugosi Dracula?
No, I have not.
I did.
What's your opinion? Good, bad, terrible?
I thought it was slow and boring, but it was a black and white movie from the 30s. I think the image of Bela Lugosi with the stupid hair and the pale face and stuff is pretty influential.
I think it would have to be.
Honest to God, the only moment that struck out to me, and the whole, you can look up the year and stuff for it, Bela Lugosi Dracula movie, was when we were snooping around Castle Dracula, and a scene called for, giant rats skulking around. Giant rats have to be in Castle Dracula. I imagine no giant rats were to be found on the studio set. Instead, they had a possum. A regular North American opossum virginiensis lurking around Dracula's castle in Romania.
Well, yes.
Took me right out. And of course, you could see the fucking string that they had the rubber bats on and stuff in this old ass movie. And also, in the book they talk a lot about the they allude to the hypnotic, entrancing effect that Dracula has on people. In the movie, they would have to.
How much do you think that that's just like The Rock? Like, you remember in Jumanji 2 and 3, he's just got the smolder. How much of that is just like, he just intensely looks at you and you just look like, what do I do with this?
That's what's happening.
But it's not a hypnotic effect. It's just a side effect of you just like,
what the fuck? It doesn't have the time to describe the slow, draining, disease-like effect that Dracula has on these people. Instead, it just cuts to Bela Lugosi scowling at the camera with the light shone on his face. Weird.
I think you meant to say blah, 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 blah.
I said what I said.
I know what you said. I'm saying you said it wrong. Again, Stoker also...
Do you have any more opinions about this shit that you don't know anything about?
Well, yeah, I'm getting there. You're educating me as I'm talking. Stoker also integrated science and superstition. For instance, he references blood as a life force, reflecting 19th century fascination with medicine and autonomy. His Dracula could hypnotize, like you said, you dipshit.
Yeah, they thought hypnotizing
and resist
was at the
death.
forefront of psychology. They also thought blood transfusion was the hip new thing in fucking science, but they hadn't discovered blood types yet. So half those people were going for a rough fucking time.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 3. The bin giveth and the bin taketh away, usually depending on pickup day. I need to address a structural issue within the intern nutritional program. We refined caffeine protocols, we've implemented recovery measures, but one variable remained unstable: baseline nutrition. You can't build sustained performance on coffee and regret alone. You can optimize spikes, you can mitigate crashes, but if the system is depleted, you mistake stimulants for sustenance. Performance wasn't just chaotic, it was inconsistent. That's when we introduced Zevo Life. It's a patented microalgae designed to support steady energy, digestion, and overall vitality, helping your system operate consistently instead of constantly compensating. Packed with essential amino acids, vitamins A, B12, E, and K, antioxidants, minerals, and bioactive compounds, all within a single teaspoon. It's not stimulation, it's foundation. We added it to the intern's daily allocation, and the Intern Nutritional Authority has adopted it into long-term protocols. You can get 30% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at zevo.life. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon gazing into the future through a rearview mirror, we'll tell you plainly, the show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just upgrading your nutrition, you're reinforcing the structure that carries you through life's impacts. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for investing in the long game. We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 1. In the beginning, the trash was without form and void, but raccoons saw that it could be organized.
So what happens when you get the wrong transfusion from the wrong blood type? I think that was a question you just asked me while we were on break.
Complications.
Complications, you jackass. So Dracula's, are you A or B or double O? And then he just has to make sure that you're the right blood type so he can suck your blood.
It's a shame that they're fucking lettered and not numbered. Are you type 1,
Oh.
2, 3?
What is this?
No, it could kill you.
Hold on. What's
kidney failure?
No. But what's the blood type where you can?
You know what kidney failure is. You've tried to fail a fucking kidney mine or two once or twice.
That's a different story for another time. What is the blood type where you can actually, accept any blood?
Universal receiver?
Yes, because O is the one where you can give it, right? Because if vampires can suck anybody, right, without any, oh my god, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to get any repercussions like kidney failure. Well,
if you're O neg, you can, you're the universal donor.
Okay, but what's the receiver? I'm saying that they're
universal
the universal
receiver is AB+.
Well, then all vampires are AB+. They have to be.
I used to have my blood donor card in my wallet. Now I don't think I do, and now I don't think I remember what my fucking blood type is.
I get yelled at a lot because I
important.
don't know what my blood type is.
Who the fuck yells at you about your blood type?
Girlfriend. It's a long story, bub. It's not really a long story. I'll tell you off air. I'm just saying all vampires are AB.
No matter what your blood type is, you should probably give blood once or twice, because how else are you going to feed the hungry vampires in your community?
A proud sponsor of today's episode, the American Cross Society.
Give blood.
Or the vampire will suck it.
It's not that goddamn much to ask. For fuck's sake.
Dracula in popular culture, from horror to romance. Dracula's cultural journey is wild. from silent films to hammer horror adaptations in the 1950s to the 70s, to modern interpretations like Dracula Untold. That was the one I was thinking of. It was Untold. Or Castlevania. That's a good one. The character consistently morphs. Statistically, the Dracula franchise has generated billions of dollars in box office, merchandise, and adaptations. One interesting trend: modern adaptations often emphasize romance, tragedy, and even horror, reflecting changing audience tastes. For example, Dracula is ranked over 80% of the top vampire fiction lists, showing its enduring influence. I just want to know how many fan fictions are out there about Count Dracula. Blah, 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 blah,
Oh, yeah,
blah.
it depends. You know, there's a thin line between fan fiction, adaptation, reinterpretation.
Well,
blah,
that's
blah,
true.
blah.
So this evolution mirrors societal fears. Early Gothic versions tapped into anxieties about immigration, disease, and moral decay.
Yeah, I mentioned how the one vampire by Pilidori,
The who?
how Vampire with a Y had lesbianism. Those darn lesbians.
Ah, yes.
Can't leave any suck for the rest of us.
You're terrible, man. You're terrible. So, early Gothic versions tapped into anxieties like we were talking about. Contemporary versions focused on power, sexuality, and identity. Dracula is both a mirror and a lens, reflecting what scares or fascinates people in a given era. For hosts, this provides a rich playground, historical horror, cultural interpretation, and a modern societal contemporary that all collides into one figure known as Count Dracula. And I didn't actually know this, but the Count comes from the fact that he was, isn't it like he's of noble birth? And so he has a higher station than all the peasants back then. So he's a count, right? So that's where that part of his name comes from. And Dracula is his last name. I didn't get that wrong, did I?
Yeah, Count is a title.
Oh, correct.
And, yeah, Dracula is related to the word Dracul, or dragon.
Ah,
Again, going back to big lizards and Satan.
we do like big lizards and Satan.
Here's something I want to pitch to you.
What's that?
I haven't seen this adaptation of Dracula, but one of the more popular film adaptations was one from the 70s starring a guy named Peter Cushing,
Okay.
who's a skinny British dude.
Okay.
And again, Dracula is this sort of undead creature, you know, with a unnaturally long life, brought back from dead for his allure and appeal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peter Cushing died. He was a human being, and he died. Problem is that in his acting career, he was in a Star Wars movie. The good folks at Disney brought him back from the fucking death as a weird CGI homunculus.
They
in
do that?
In one of the later Star Wars trilogy. As his role as Grand Moff Tarkin again, as this bizarre CGI creature.
I really hope they got the. I hope they got the
from his
permission.
family?
Yeah, basically, because it's a little fucked up if you just do that from a dead guy. Let the dead rest.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fucked up, and I
think it's a fair statement. Like, let the dead
maybe the good
rest.
folks at Disney threw the Cushing estate a few bucks, but like, does that mean you own his likeness now? Does that give you the right to puppeteer his corpse around for the rest of the time?
So, season 2 of Ted, right?
Oh,
So they took the movies with Mark Wahlberg and the teddy bear.
yeah.
And there was Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy, a proud sponsor of hopefully
The
future
corpse
episodes.
of what once was Seth MacFarlane.
We'll get there. Seth MacFarlane was trying to do an adaptation of one of the previous presidents. I forget what his name was. Maybe it was JFK. Maybe it was Bush, doesn't matter.
Was he Irish?
Dude, I don't remember. I just read the article. And what it was is that no matter how they did it, during the TED series, season 2, the controversy that came up was they used AI to get the likeness of this president. And it was just bullshit because it's like, oh my God, we used AI. It's like, it's a tool. It's okay. Calm your panties. But it does beg the question, should you be able to resurrect the dead and place them into a for-profit kind of scenario? Very similar to what you were talking about. And Seth MacFarlane he had permission, I assume. I assume this. And you know what they say about assumptions, and ask that of you and me.
You think fucking Seth MacFarlane was able to wrangle broad consent from the whole Kennedy clan to puppeteer JFK's corpse around in AI?
I don't know how else he'd be able to do it without getting sued. That or it's a gray area because they don't have legislation for artificial intelligence.
I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of throwing everybody's likeness into AI or anything, but
They tried prosthetics. They tried.
I mean, I also
CGI.
saw, you know,
Didn't work.
Kennedy in Call of Duty Black Ops as an ugly claymation model. You know, at what point is that different from a AI version of Kennedy?
I don't know.
Spinning around.
But my point is like I read that and I'm like, okay, that's a little that's a gray area. So it's like, can you do that? Can Disney do that and like just CGI this guy into their Star Wars? Can Seth MacFarlane just CGI one of the previous presidents? My opinion is let the dead fucking rest.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Like,
I mean,
how hard is it to
part of the
write the
appeal
story to where you don't fucking say they're in the the other room and they say something? It's like, all right, cool.
I think part of the appeal of the actor Peter Cushing in the first place, right, is that he's already fucking gaunt. You know,
Yes.
he already looks like a fucking corpse. I don't know, if he didn't play Sherlock Holmes, maybe he should have, because that is a skinny Englishman.
Sure. So, why Dracula still matters today? So, even today, Dracula isn't just a story. He's a symbol. Psychologists suggest that vampire stories appeal because they combine fear with the forbidden desire. A potent emotional cocktail. According to a 2020 study, people are twice as likely to engage with the media that blends horror and romance than pure horror. I mean, it's just fucking Romeo and Juliet vibes right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil the Dungeons and Dragons module, Curse of Strahd, or any of the Ravenloft setting.
I don't think anybody knows what those are, because I don't.
Part of the idea there is that it stars a vampire, Count Strahd von Zarovich, right?
That sounds Russian.
It's vaguely Slavic.
Oh, I'm just telling you, it sounds
Neither
Russian.
Hungarian, German, nor Romanian, which is weird for a vampire.
No Romaniano. Don't you fucking sigh at
The
me.
idea that the creators had going into making this module back in the 70s and shit originally was that a vampire was an abuser, romantically and emotionally. That they were sucking people in to abuse them. Now, the problem with a lot of the modern Twilight paranormal romance stuff is that it's playing too much into this idea that, oh, I can fix him. And that they wanted to go a different direction with Strahd to reinforce that this is very much a bad deal.
Yeah.
That this is a one-sided abusive thing. That this is a one-sided relationship. I get all of your blood. Trade offer. You get hypnotized.
What a deal. What a guy. So, Dracula embodies that blend of danger, attraction, immortality, moral complexity, you name it, he's probably got it. He also speaks to the modern work and life culture. We're fascinated by immortality, living longer, power, having that, oh my god, I control the dumb fucks, blah, 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 and control. Being able to control the chaos that is life. Dracula is a metaphor for ambition unchecked, charisma that imitates or intimates or whatever the hell you want to say, and ethics that bend to personal gain. From a cultural standpoint, Dracula informs fashion, literature, and even Halloween costumes. Every year, millions in the U.S. spend money on vampire-themed media, demonstrating the commercial and psychological pull of the archetype. And I hope that, who's the author again?
Bram Stoker.
I hope he gets a cut of this. His family gets a cut of all that bullshit. Because, like, fuck, that's his work.
It's public domain.
Fucking should not be. It should be like, capitalize on
Oh,
that.
fuck you. Are we going to have an argument about public domain right now?
We can have it later.
Current law in the U.S. is like, it's after the guy dies plus 70 years. I think that's fucking ridiculous.
That is fucking ridiculous.
I think it should be author's death plus 18 years, you know? Let the fucking kids eat for a minute and then throw it back to the rest of us to enjoy. Jesus Christ.
We should have Mickey Mouse on public domain right now.
I want Mickey Mouse's head on a fucking pike. That's a different story.
Vlad the Impaler. And that was the last thing Mickey said before Vlad impaled him. So, moreover, Vlad's Dracula, that story teaches something deeper. Humans are endlessly fascinated by the duality of horror and empathy. Dracula challenges us to examine the morality, power, and fear, and not just fiction, but in our own lives. Do you agree or disagree?
It's alright.
Alright. So, Dracula isn't just a monster story.
Holy fuck, how much more is there?
A bit! You can listen and read just like our listeners, you dipshit. He's a lens through which we examine human nature, culture, and even ourselves. The real Vlad III reminds us that history is complicated. So as you think about Dracula tonight, ask yourself, why are we still fascinated by the monster? Is it the history, the myth, or the horror, or something inside ourselves that refuses to let go of the fear mixed with the wonder? Brett, why do you think that Dracula remains relevant in today's day and age? Why the fuck is there a movie called Twilight? And why the fuck is their skin made out of diamonds? And why are we not capitalizing on them?
I can't help it if people think goth is sexy.
They're not Gothic. They're in Forks. What is it, Washington? Like, that's it. There's nothing important about them.
You saw the Hex Girls. It
I
flows both ways.
It was a Wiccan. It's different. Any closing remarks for our viewers?
The book's alright.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a raccoon intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 2. Verily I say unto thee, one's worth is not in what they throw away, but what they are willing to dive back in for. I need to address an issue regarding the unpaid interns. While overall productivity has improved, there's a recurring decline following what they described as after-hours research. Translation, excess beverages were consumed. The next morning metrics were predictable. Cognitive clarity, compromised. Regret index, elevated. Sunlight compatibility, low. That's when we implemented liqueur gummies. They're formulated with DHM, which helps your body process alcohol, along with milk thistle, B vitamins, electrolytes, and ginger root to support recovery and hydration. You enjoy your evening, you support recovery. You wake up to regret your decisions with a clear head and a settled stomach. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at liqueur.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a kaleidoscope attempting to intuit your future by reading tea leaves, we'll warn you. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So you're not just protecting tomorrow, you're supporting the continued operational stability of the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your patronage. I need to give a brief update regarding the unpaid interns. For last fiscal quarter, their caffeine habits were entirely self-funded through dumpster-based nutrition and used coffee grounds rescued from the trash compactor behind the local prison. As you can imagine, results were inconsistent. Archival accuracy, unstable. Claw precision, questionable. Midday existential collapse, guaranteed. It was a difficult quarter. But that ends today. We've transitioned the entire intern program to Strong Coffee Company. Their black blend has 15 grams of protein, 5 grams of MCTs, and adaptagens like ashwagandha and L-theanine. So instead of spike and crash routines, it's a sustained focus. The results speak for themselves. If you're going to drink coffee anyway, it might as well pull its weight. You can get 20% off your entire order when you use code TOPIC at strongcoffeecompany.com. And for transparency's sake, like a raccoon peering through a mason jar instead of a magnifying glass while searching for mythic relics buried in a landfill, we'll tell you plainly. The show earns a commission when you use code TOPIC. So if you grab some, you're not just upgrading your coffee. You're funding structured nutrition for the interns. Nick, myself, and the Intern Nutritional Authority thank you for your service.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you either a Raccoon Intern broadcast, a liminal space service message, an HR policy memoranda, listener surveillance notices, trash theology sermons, or the ever-present system malfunction emergency alerts. Please stand by. Trash Theology Sermon 4. Remember, cleanliness is next to loneliness. Seek the comfort of clutter.
And that's all for this week on Some Topic, the show where logic is seasonal, facts are optional, and the raccoons are 2 paychecks behind. If you're a liberal, please keep your critiques to yourself. Our unpaid interns have adopted a shoot first, shred later policy, and we're in a stand your ground state after all. HR has yet to get back to us with a solution, so stand by. To the rest of you, keep your coffee black, your sarcasm sharp, and your reality on airplane mode. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay caffeinated, and stay just interested enough to keep the surveillance squirrels guessing while we slip out the back.